What's up? It's your girl Tiani Victoria, and you are now watching Hip Hop Since 1987. It's hard candy. Yeah.
HHH1987.com.
It's your boy Brandon B. Wyche, Hip Hop Since 1987.com. We here with the lovely Miss Tiani Victoria.
Yes. Hello, people. What's up?
So, for those you don't know, she's a female MC. You know, it's been a while since you might have seen her on Hip Hop Since 1987. You know, our last project. You know,
yes, that Bad Bitch Audio.
Bad Bitch Audio. You know.
Yeah.
That dropped when did it drop?
That dropped in 2012. 2013?
2013?
Might have been 2013.
It's 2015 now, so
yeah.
like, what was the delay?
It's pretty much about that hard candy.
Okay.
And it's no delay. I've been in the studio working on my craft.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been
in
the studio
for 2 years you've been working on your craft?
Yeah, it takes time to get better.
Okay.
It takes time. I ain't want to just, be one of them artists to just flood with a bunch of music that's not ready.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I felt that it was important because I take it seriously to get in the studio and own my craft, get better.
All right, so you talk about getting better.
Yeah.
It's 2 years between now and your last project. So what improved? Like, what should we expect that's going to be better from this project versus your last project?
The overall quality of the music, the mixes, my songwriting skills, and definitely the concepts, because I like to, stick to the narrative. I can make songs, turn up and all that, but I like to make songs about stuff I'm feeling or whatever I feel like people want to hear, as far as based on life situations and stuff like that, especially for the females. I feel like, is nobody really talking about directly to the females on female issues, stuff like that.
Okay.
So that's what I went to. But yeah, that's what I've been focusing on.
Okay. 2 years, she's getting better.
Oh my gosh. You can't rush greatness, so
look,
that's the motto.
The people going to see. So when does Hard Candy come out?
April 21st.
April 21st.
Yeah, get that. Dropping on hiphopsince1987.com.
Yes, and it's hosted by Don Cannon, Ace McClowd. How you get Don Cannon and Ace McClowd to host the mixtape? And why you get those two?
Well, I've been knowing Ace for a while. So I had him come. Oh, and he hosted my first mixtape ever, Vicky's Secret.
Okay.
Along with DJ Circuit Breaker. So we had him come down to the studio one day to listen to some new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he was thoroughly impressed. He was so impressed that he called Don Cannon right then and there, sent him some tracks.
Mm-hmm.
And next thing you know, Cannon called him back like he wanted to be a part of the project. And it was a wrap since then.
So Cannon heard a few tracks, he hopped on the phone, and he wanted to co-sign the project. That's kind of big. So we should be expecting big things from this project here.
Yeah, big things. Yeah, definitely a milestone right there. So yeah, shouts out to Don Cannon and Ace McClowd. Yep.
Yeah, and then without giving out the full track list, like what features and what producers on this project? Just name a few. You don't gotta name them all.
Name a few. Gilly the Kid. I know y'all heard of him.
Okay.
Spado. Both from Major Figures.
Okay.
Yeah, shout out to those dudes. Yeah, that's just to name a few. Young Savage. And I got a few ladies too on there. Definitely, gonna keep the female vibe on there. We on there strongs. We out here strong.
Now what about producers?
Digital Crate, shout out my man. He's part of the Circle Productions. He produced most of what's on the project. Rookie McFly produced $1 Million Flow that I put out earlier this year. I put a video out too to that, which will all be on Hard Candy. So yeah, who else? A few other producers, but y'all gotta cop the project so y'all can, y'all can get the credits and everything so y'all can see for yourselves, you know what I mean?
You mentioned the Circle Production. Can you name everybody that's part of that team?
That's me, my partner DJ Circuit Breaker, Angeline, Digital Crates, DJ Ismatic, Bach, and yeah, Circle Production. That's the team.
So now everybody produce, everybody write. Like what does everybody role, or what's some roles that they contribute?
It's anywhere from production to the engineering side to the mixing side. Basically, everybody is a team. Teamwork make the dream work. So, yeah, it's the team.
Okay. Now, recently you performed at the Electric Factory. I think it was like the YG ASAP Ferg show.
Yes,
right?
I did.
So you had a chance to perform in front of that packed crowd. And how was that experience performing?
That was amazing. I mean, I feel like it's any artist's dream to get in front of thousands of people singing your song and screaming your name. That's, it was definitely a milestone in my career.
Okay.
And I want to shout out Dice Raw and DJ Circuit Breaker for making it happen.
Okay. So you mentioned Dice Raw. Now, I know you also did something with like, Black Thought and Dice Raw. Can you explain, your relationship with these two guys from the Roots?
Yes. Dice Raw, he been rocking with me for a minute.
Okay.
He definitely believes in what I'm doing. And
but how you get that relationship with Dice Raw,
Pretty much a good friend of mine, DJ Cuts, and my partner DJ Circuit Breaker played Dice Raw some of my music. He went and played it for Black Thought, so they were in his kitchen listening to one of my freestyles, and Black Thought told Dice, get her, she the one. You gotta, lock in a situation with her. So immediately after that, Dice, he reached out to us, and out of that came a digital distribution deal.
Okay.
With them. So yeah, we got a project coming out later on in the year called Nothing's Gonna Stop Me. So look out for that.
Oh, so that has nothing to do with Hard Candy? Like he's
No,
not...
that's a project with
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. So I was gonna ask you about what projects you had coming in the future, but I guess
Yeah, that's one of them.
So can we expect Black Thought possibly on a song with you in the future, or even Dice Raw?
We're gonna put that out there, and we going hopefully that manifests.
Okay.
But yeah, I do have a few records with Dice Raw, and 2 of them made the cut for the Nothing's Gonna Stop Me project. So you can definitely expect to hear him on there.
So is that project finished? Because you talking about certain songs making a cut. Like, is that finished? Or?
Yeah, it's finished.
I
told you I've been working 2 years. That's what I've been doing for 2 years.
I mean, we don't know. A lot of people say they're working, but they don't really mean.
Well, I'm a woman of my word, so.
So will that project drop this year?
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. How many songs on that project?
8.
8?
Yeah.
All right. Now, you mentioned you signed to a digital distribution deal. Does that mean you're still independent, or you're signed to Dice Raw? You teamed up with Dice Raw? Like, how does that work out?
I'm definitely still independent.
Okay.
But I'm out here making moves.
Okay. Now, is the goal to, stay independent in the future, or, do you eventually want to sign the deal to a major label or anything like that?
It's kind of like whatever the situation is, whatever the best situation is, when it presents itself, that's when I'm gonna make the choice to do, I'm gonna make the right choice. So being independent these days is definitely more lucrative, I feel like, than it was a while ago, especially with things like the internet. Mm-hmm. So if you grind hard, you could definitely make something out of it. So I feel like, it's easier with the internet to get a fan base because, it's everything at the click of a button.
Mm-hmm.
So, pretty much, I'm just playing my cards.
Okay. Now look, for those who never seen your past Hip Hop Since 1987 interviews, or never checked out your music, who just followed us today, followed you today, like, can you explain your rap style for the viewers out there?
Organic. Yeah, organic. It's definitely from the heart. Like, it's not, how do I explain this? I just talk about stuff that's true to me, that I want to talk about, stuff that's totally inspired by things I experienced in my life. So I feel like that's organic. And raw. I heard raw. I had a show at Voltage the other day, and this lady, she was like, she was telling her friend, he had never seen me perform before, and she was telling him, like, because he was like, what's she about to get up there and do? What's she, and, because people look at me, they don't think I'm going to get up there and, whatever, but,
What they think you going to sing?
They going to think I'm going to sing, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of times people think I sing, before they think I rap, but, you know, she basically told him like, yo, she raw. Like, he ain't believe her until I got up on stage and did my thing. But yeah, I would say organic and definitely like raw.
And you mentioned performing at Voltage. You also performed down in Texas, like not too
I did South by Southwest. We fresh off of that. Yeah.
So like, how was that? Because you know, a lot of those people go out there, they just love music and they're just fans and they don't really know people, but they go to all the showcases.
Right, it was
a
lot of that. Yeah, it was definitely dope going down there to be able to perform, because I would have liked to, you know, I would have went down there just to network anyway. So it was definitely dope to be able to perform, you know. So shout out My Radio Philly, yeah, for that. It was at the Raise the Bar show.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was definitely dope. Everybody at South by Southwest, they just be down there trying to network, like, and that's what I like about it, because it's just like, you know, you just getting linked and you going down there, you working.
It's all positive vibes.
It's positive vibes. Yeah. Everybody trying to do the same thing, so it's dope.
We here in Philly. Can't let you leave. I gotta ask you a question. You know, what's your take on Philadelphia rap scene? Because you know, you're an artist. You know, you're from Philly. You know, what's your take on the Philadelphia rap scene? Not just females, but just in general. You know,
the Philadelphia rap scene is definitely rich. You know, music in general in Philadelphia, we got a rich history. So, you know, I'm grateful to be from here, because I feel like, you know, it's like the creme de la creme. I feel like, you know, it's one of the music meccas of the world, period. So, yeah. It's definitely a lot of talented artists here. So, you know, I'm glad to be, you know, coming out of the city.
Cool.
Yeah, representing.
Yeah, before we get out of here, is there anything else you want to leave for the camera?
I just want to say Hard Candy, out now. Click that link, download hiphopsince1987.com. You know, hosted by Ace McClowd and Don Cannon. You know, we just about to heat the streets up, so just stay tuned, you know, just stay tuned.
Yeah, where can they find you at on Twitter and Instagram?
Everything at Tiani Victoria, spelled Tiani. Well, I know y'all, you know.
Yeah. You can spell it out. You know, we might get it wrong, so you can still spell it out.
Yeah, spelled Tiani Victoria. That's on Twitter. That's Instagram. That's Facebook. That's all my social networks, and SoundCloud also. Follow me there.
Look, it's your boy B Wyche, hiphopsince1987.com. We sounding out Hard Candy. Download it now.
hiphopsince1987.com.
You've been dropping dope records consistently, man. Satisfying your fans. When can we expect that album? Can we talk on any features, production? What's going on?
We really wrapping up right now. Okay. We looking at May.
So you're on the tail end of May. That's what I like to hear. You have a title for it?
Remember My Name.
Remember My Name. There you go.